Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, showing himself that he is God.
This is the defining issue of our time.
That's why I'm for climate action.
I am for climate action.
I'm for climate action.
I'm for climate action.
I'm for climate action.
This year is the 5th anniversary of the publication of Laudato Si, an encyclical on caring for the common home. Pope Francis released a message inviting all people to participate in a week dedicated to promoting the message of his second encyclical.
Renuevo mi llamado urgente al responder la crisis ecológica. Cuidemos la creación, don de nuestro buen Dios creador. Celebremos juntos la semana Laudato Si.
The encyclical Praise Be is the most important papal document ever on the environment, backing the science on climate change. Since the Argentinian Archbishop became Pope, Francis has shifted the focus away from the Church's conservative stance and made attacks on inequality.
If there is going to be a message on this simply put out there in very bold terms, it's difficult to imagine it coming from anywhere else.
In the same way that we want people to take care of the most vulnerable in the household, we want it in the country, and I'm asking you to help us do it internationally. That's why we need a global leadership initiative from Pope Francis. Moral leadership is important in this world today.
It seems clear to me also that climate change is a problem we can no longer be left to a future generation.
The entire material universe speaks of God's love. But we need only take a frank look at the facts to see that our common home is falling into serious disrepair. These words come from Pope Francis's encyclical Laudato Si. I feel deeply inspired and overjoyed to share them with you.
The Pope would like to invite us to think more profoundly about the question how we have defaced or destroyed creation.
This encyclical comes at a critical moment in human history. The ecological crisis is essentially a spiritual problem. The sin against the environment, the ecological sin.
Then you go to paragraph 237. On Sunday, our participation in the Eucharist has a special importance. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationships with God, with ourselves, with others, with the world. So he's saying it's Sunday that will heal our relationships with the world. It's the environment. Sunday is the day of the resurrection, the first day of the new creation.
If the Pope pushed for one day of the week, Sunday, to have a mandatory closure, would you be in support of that?
On a Sunday? Sure, most businesses are closed anyway on a Sunday, so that would be the natural day that you would target if you were going to go down that path.
If the thought was put out there that one day a week would be selected to let the land rest or let the environment rest, which is in the Pope's encyclical, what day of the week do you think that would be?
I would hope for Sunday.
If you were going to pick a day when everything would have to be closed to lower greenhouse emissions, what day would it be?
Sunday?
A 1 day a week of rest for the environment, what day do you think would be chosen?
Well, I think the natural choice would probably be Sunday.
Close on Sunday.
The Sunday law will be enforced under many guises. But here's one. To combat climate change, we will know when the mark of the beast is near, when we see church and state are uniting. When church and state unite, just as in the old world of Europe, etc., and the church dictates to the state, and the state becomes the church in essence. A Sunday law is near, and we are nearing that crisis.
Today, here at the Vatican, the two began with a friendly handshake. The Pope gave the president a copy of his encyclical, where he makes a passionate case to fight climate change.
I'll be reading them.
The Jesuits have sought the highest positions in the world, but especially in the United States, where the Republic and the Constitution has been conspired against by them for years. Finally, they've allowed a known Jesuit into Congress to speak. How can you bring a man into Congress who's the head of the church and also the head of the state, when the very First Amendment tells us about the separation of church and state?
Our first president, George Washington, said religion and morality are the essential pillars. Let's claim that ancient promise, that if his people, who are called by his name, will humble themselves and pray, he'll hear from heaven and he'll heal this land.
But if ye turn away, and forsake my statutes and my commandments which I have set before you, then will I pluck them up by the roots out of my land which I have given them.
We stand in our nation's capital where its future is determined, and we cry out, members of Congress, leaders of the land, you sing, God bless America. But if you forge and execute laws that disregard the laws of heaven, how can God bless America? If the Lord is God, then serve him. Return, 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 America.
The Pope visits Assisi to sign the third encyclical, Fratelli Tutti, Brothers All. In the new encyclical, Pope Francis will call for solidarity.
Tutti siamo fratelli, e per questo uomini e donne di ogni confessione religiosa oggi ci uniamo nella preghiera e nella penitenza.
In the document, the Pope will present the major proposals he launched during the pandemic, from working together to overcome the problem and respecting nature to avoid this crisis.
Paragraph 138, he says, now more than ever, we need to attain a global juridical, a global political, a global economic order.
For these reasons, the Church does not restrict her mission to the private sphere.
Church and state.
Church and state together. On the contrary, she cannot and must not remain on the sidelines in the building of a better world. The church has a public role over and above her charitable and educational activities. She works for the advancement of humanity and of universal fraternity. This is the issue. This is the church. The church is a home with open doors because she is a mother. She's the mother of all the churches.
This was the church ruling over the multitudes during the Dark Ages, just as they did during the Spanish Inquisition. That anyone who did not worship according to the church was to be put to death. Entire towns were completely eradicated by the Jesuit Inquisition. Millions of people were killed and destroyed, and interestingly, they are behind the movement today.
Domenica è la giornata per fare pace con la vita.